Hey guys, this is Eve with Scrapbooking with me, and we're going to do a little project today. It's going to be a little lengthy, but I'm going to cut out a lot of it so that you just get the gist of how to put the project together. We're going to use this styrofoam plate, and then this box that I get a lot of my paper holder storage things in these boxes, so I have tons of these boxes laying around, and I try to use them up as much as possible. They're a thin chipboard. They're not really heavy at all. So we're going to turn these two items with a little bit of paper, a little bit of our paper, into this. And I know this is hard to get it in the frame, but it is a top hat for 4th of July, and it's going to sit on my table and have the sparklers and everything in there for the kids. So, and then also I thought, well, it's going to be outside, so how am I going to keep this thing from blowing away, because it's not very heavy. So I put the plate on the bottom of it with the plate upside down, and if you take it and just press down on it just a little bit, well, it sticks to the table. You see that? So then it just has a little suction, so it sticks down there. So I thought that was pretty neat. Alright, let's get started. Now, I know there's a lot of my viewers that are not in the U.S. and you don't celebrate our 4th of July, but you could do this project for anything. You could do this for just a table cover. Excuse the hot glue strings, I haven't melted those off yet. You could do this for a centerpiece to put in the center of your table, and put arrangement of flowers in there, whatever you wanted. If you don't have this thin chipboard, you could also use just cardstock. If you wanted it a little thicker, you could put two pieces of cardstock together. So there's lots of different variations on this that you could use. But the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to cut this box down the seam right here, because it makes it a little bit easier for me to handle. And no, I'm not going to cut it straight, because there's no way I'm going to cut straight. Okay, we're going to put that one aside, and we'll flip it over so that we can see what we're doing, kinda. And I'm going to put that plate right there, and then I'm going to draw around it. This is going to be our base. And you see that plate suctioned down to that already. So we're going to cut this out, and then we're going to cut out the form to make the hat. Okay, so I took the other side, and I just cut off the extra pieces here, the folds and all that, made it a flat piece, and then I marked off 8 inches, because that's how tall we made that one, and I just marked it on here. And so we will cut this. This is too wide to go in my cutter. If it wasn't, I would be using my cutter, because it cuts a lot straighter than I do sometimes. Okay, and then save that piece, because I can do something else with that. Now this is going to have to be really pliable, so we're going to have to manipulate it just a little bit. So I want this to be my outside where I glue my paper on, because this has a slick finish and it's a little bit harder to get paper to stick to that. So I didn't cover the whole inside of my other one. I just covered the very top part that you would see if you was just looking at it from the side or where you was sitting. So I just kind of fold it and fold it and fold it. Kind of get that going, get that circle going there. I run it across the edge of my table, and I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. There we go. I just run it across the edge of my table, holding it here and pulling. I know you can't see all this, but you guys know how to do this, I'm sure. This just kind of breaks down the fibers, excuse me, in it and gets it to where it will fold in a good shape like that. So we're going to keep kind of moving it around. I don't want it to have any folds in it, so I want to make sure that I get it good. Alright, I'm going to put a rubber band on this and let it sit for just a minute while we work on the base. So this is 9 inches, so what we're going to do is cut some strips that are 3 inches each. That will get our 9 inches across to do our red, white, and blue. Now I'm going to use my grid on my mat to try to get these straight and even. So that looks pretty good right there. And then I'm just going to use some art glitter glue. I'm going to put enough under here to hold it until I can get it maneuvered a little bit. Press it down. Do the same up here, and then I can always go back and add. This is just to hold it in place while I flip it. I didn't just move that. And it looks like I might have. But we're going to go with it because most of this is going to be covered anyway. So even though I cut off just a little bit, we're going to go with that. And I know I'm going to make someone out there cringe, but I'm not going to cover the bottom because the plate's going to be glued to it and it's not going to be seen. So we're going to leave that and save our paper. Right, I'm going to take my red, this is Faber-Castell marker, and this is in deep scarlet red, and I'm just going to go around the edges just to take away that chipboard edge there. Makes it look a little more finished. Okay, I'm going to tell you the exact length of this in case you want to make one the same. This is 15.5 inches, and it's by 8. Now, we don't have any paper that is long enough for that, so we're going to put some paper together. I've cut these strips 2 3/4. That allows for just a little bit of a overlap seam, just so that, you know, it won't show. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some score tape right there, and we're going to put this paper right on top of it. And it looks like I've got one a little bit wider than the other, but that's not going to matter because I am going to, I think that one slipped a little bit on that end. Okay, so that's going to hold our paper together. I'm going to do all 3 of them that way. Okay, so that should go well right down through there. And I am going to put this seam as close to the back as possible so that the front will not have a seam in it. So we'll probably, and I don't care if they're all in the same place, that's fine with me. So we're going to go just like that. And I'm going to put this down with, I think I'm going to put it down with some score tape. And I'm going to use some wide score tape. This will make it hold a lot better. The glue will hold it, but this is going to make it hold better when it's bending. the glue's going to try to release just a little bit when it bends. This will not. So we're going to go down both sides and the middle with this. Put it in as close to the edge as we can. And I think I'll need 1/2 inch to go down the center of that, I do believe. There we go. This is the one that's showing white. It's not a score tape, it's just a double-sided tape that I have that I'm trying to use up, because it is not quite as sticky as score tape. So I quit. We did sell it in the shop, and I quit selling it because it really just wasn't quite as sticky as the score tape. Didn't hold as well. So I don't really sell anything that I don't use, that I don't recommend. So that's why I'm using this up. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm just going to use it up. And then I will go back to my score tape. But this is good enough for this, because this is probably going to get, I figure the kids are going to get it wet, you know, getting out of the pool and that kind of thing. And so this is probably going to be a one year use for this, so not going to be a biggie. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is mark this off in thirds, since I am terrible about going straight. So I'm going to do 2 3/4, 2 3/4. This will give me a line to go by when I start laying this down. Okay, so I divided my cardboard into thirds so that I can have a little line to go by when I lay this down. That will help me a lot, hopefully. We shall see. So let's see. Do the red down here, white in the middle, and blue at the top. We're not going to peel all of this off until we get going here. And we're going to put the blue one over here first, and then put the white one in the center. That way, if I've got everything a little off, I can adjust with the white. Well, that was weird. That has 2 layers of paper on it. Okay, so there we go. Okay, we're cutting out our pinwheels, so while that's cutting, we're going to go ahead and put this together. And I think I am just going to use some double-sided adhesive. Hopefully that will hold it. I think it will. My cricket sounds funny over there. This paper that's right here, I'm just going to trim that off just a little. And then this edge right here, all I'm going to do to kind of cover that is I'm going to go, if my hand will not shake, I'm going to go down a little bit with my, I should have done this before I put it together. Go down with my red marker. And then my blue marker. Like I I said, do this before you put it together, and then you won't have to worry about it. And now we're ready to, I think I'm going to go ahead and put my trim on here, my lace on, before we do anything else. Now, on this one, I put USA. I'm not sure I have any more of that. I'm going to go ahead and put this ribbon on here. This is some ribbon that I have had for a long time, and now I'm finding a use for it. So what I'm going to use to put this on here is some double-sided adhesive, and all I'm going to do is run it right in that seam, right there at that seam, and that will serve two purposes. It's going to help hold the cylinder round, plus it's going to cover up any of my imperfections that I might have made. Alright, I'm going to peel that off a little at the time so that I can put this on there. But I'm going to trim my ribbon. Now, you could heat the end of your ribbon if you wanted to so that it wouldn't fray. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to probably overlap mine just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have to hold it up here to me so I can make sure I get this kind of straight. Okay, we're ready to put this cylinder down on that to make the hat. And I'm not, this is a very thin line here, so I am not going to risk trying to get that exactly some hot glue on there or whatever and glue it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my foam tape, and this is that big roll of foam tape that we have. I'm going to run some foam tape right at the edge all the way around, and that will give me a little bit more of a base to glue to. I'm not going to use this as the glue part. I'm going to use this as just some extra room to glue. You see what I mean? That gives me that extra lip there to put hot glue on to glue with. I could have used construction strips on this, but it takes a lot of work to do the construction strip on this because you have to trim them out and cut them in angles and that kind of thing, and I'm not, this is something I want to do really quick, so I don't want to take that much time with it. Like I said, this is probably going to be destroyed on the 4th of July anyway, so it's just something that's going to look good for a while. Right, I need to mark my center on here where I want to put this. This little case for my CDs is just about the right size, and I can see through it. So what I'm going to do, now if you have one of these large cases, you could use this and just cover it with paper to do your top hat. You wouldn't even have to fool with that cylinder, but I only had this one and I'm having to use it for my CDs, so I decided I better not use it. So I'm just going to kind of center this up. So that looks about centered. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw a line around this, and that'll give me a guideline to follow when I start putting my top hat down. And then we're going to put it down in the center, hopefully somewhere near the center. Alright, there we go. We got that down. Now, we've got lots of hot glue and things around this right here, but I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to cover that with ribbon. So we're going to put this ribbon around the bottom. And I'm going to start back here. And I'm going to use hot glue because I want it to sit in kind of an angle so that it'll cover up where I put that other down. Now, in order to put your paper in the middle, I didn't put a piece all the way around. I just chose the front of my hat, and then I put this on the back side, so when people are looking at it, they can see this on the back side. That's all I did. that's up to you how you want to cover that. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to glue it at the top, because it's, once it gets in that cylinder, it's going to kind of stay like you put it anyway. And that is all I did for that. See, when you're looking in there, you can see that like that. This is going to be my front, because my seam is back here. And now we can put it down on our paper plate. So we just want to kind of put it on there where you can't see the paper plate around it. So I just fill this with hot glue right here. And then just press it down. And there you go. See, it's stuck to the table. Can't pull it up. It's hard to pull up, so, unless you release the suction that it has. And now let's see. Alright, for these little the little fringes that I did there, you know how to do those. I'm going to do one, and you know, just to show anyone who doesn't know how. This is just some of that cheap ribbon that you can get like for baskets and things. And I just have about 2 yards of it, I think. And I just take about 6 inches and I fold it over, fold it back. I just do about 6 inches back and forth. Just like that, until I run out. It doesn't have to be perfect. The more imperfect it is, really the better. And then I take my tape, just your regular office tape, and I just go around this end that I'm holding in my hand, and I tape that together. Then just take your scissors on this end and clip all of those, all the ones that are folded over. And then it's just a matter of curling it. So just take your scissors and curl. Curl a bunch. You can curl a lot. You don't have to curl. It's up to you. Whoops, I pulled that one right out of there. Gotta hold it tight while you curl it, that's for sure. See, I pulled that one out too. Not a problem if you pull it out. Just hold it, and then you can always tape it again. So that's all I'm going to do, that one. And then what I do is I just run a little bit of hot glue down there, and then I just lay that down on it. And be very careful, because it does burn, believe me. And there you go. If you've got one that's not curled, just go ahead and curl it. Hold it and curl. So that's all that you have to do to the top, and that makes it look like you've got little fireworks and things coming out of the top of it. Alright, and now we're to our little pinwheels that we put on the side. So let me grab those. Okay, here are our pinwheels, and all I did was I went on my Cricut and I did a search just for pinwheels, and I took everything. If it was a layered, I took all the layers off that and just left the pinwheel. And I cut them in different colors, the red, white, and blue, and in different sizes. I just sized them 2 inch, 1 3/4, 1 1/2, and 1 1/4. So what we're going to do is layer 3 of them like that, but I wanted to curl them up just a little bit, so I just took a paintbrush and I'm just going to curl the end just a little bit to make them look more like a pinwheel flower, just like that. Then I'll take the next size, which I think is this one. And I'm going to curl it just a little. And that paper's separating, so all I'm going to do is cut that off. And then well, I think actually this was the next size down, so we'll do the red one. That's all I did right there. And then I just layered them, you know, something like that. And then I took my hole punch, took my crocodile, and I just went in the center and punched out a hole. And then I have these brads that are from a Bo Bunny collection. Can't even remember what the name of it is right now. I will look in just a second to see if I find it. It's something about to do with the 4th of July though, as you can see. But you could use any brads. It wouldn't have to be from this collection. You could use some colorful brads that you have. I'm going to put that white one in there. Let me see if I see the name of this collection. Yeah, Firecracker brads. These are the Firecracker. That's the Firecracker collection. So that's all I did right there, and then I just kind of staggered them on here. I put like one here, one like that. So we'll put this one down. I did use hot glue, just because it grabs quicker, plus it'll help hold that brad. So my front's going to be right there, so let's put that one right there. See, just like that. So we'll do a couple more. I think I used 5 on this one. So that is it, guys. We're finished. It's a very quick, easy project. The thing that takes the longest is just doing these little things up here. I didn't do them all the way around, but as you can see, it's just a matter of curling and gluing them down. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And let us know what projects that you would like to see. This will probably be, we'll do one more 4th of July project, and that will be our art journal today. And that will be all of our 4th of July projects. I think we'll have our table set with our little cups or glasses that we did for our goodies for our kids. And then these, I think we're good to go. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.